Today we're printing Monster 21, the Cloaker. Welcome to the channel. This is Heroes and Whiskey. My name is Tim. We are printing our way through the D&D 5e Monster Manual. Let's head on over to my mini factory and see what cloakers we can find. Okay, so as it turns out, there actually aren't that many cloakers available on my mini factory. There's this one from Masashi Kyojin. It's very faithful to the look that's actually in the Monster Manual. We've had some great experiences with their miniatures in the past. Here's one from Belanacht Miniatures. Also very faithful to kind of the manta ray style that is described in the Monster Manual. And then there's this one from White Werewolf Tavern. This is a little bit non-traditional, but there's some things about it that I really like. I like the base. I like the presentation of the wings. And so even though this one is not necessarily the traditional design of a cloaker, I think this is the direction I'm going to go. So let's print this out and see what we think. So the cloaker is done. There were no issues with it printing, except for the fact that when I opened this up in Chitubox, it looked huge, like really, really big. So I actually ended up printing this out at 70% of the size. I went back and double checked on my mini factory, and it says it's 32 millimeters, but it's definitely big. That being said, let's drop it on the turntable and see what we think. So with cloakers, one of the important features is the element of surprise. So you think it's one thing and then suddenly it becomes way more than you bargained for, or it sneaks up on you and it's like getting attacked by your cat in the middle of the night. And one of the things I love about this figure is the pose of the wings. And we talked about this a little bit with the Chimera, where there's this certain angle and curvature just makes it threatening, and that's the case here. And so you can imagine that you're walking along, and then all of a sudden this thing pops its wings out, like the dinosaur who attacks Newman in the Jeep in the first Jurassic Park. And I also love how it interacts with the base in such a way that it feels like it's floating. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. But I think what really sold me was the inner set of teeth on its body. And so you feel like if it gets a hold of you, you would really be in for trouble. And even though I printed it out at 70%, I still think it's a bit big. Cloakers are only supposed to be about 100 pounds and have, roughly an 8-foot wingspan or so. And even printed smaller, this is much bigger than that. But I love the way it looks. I love the creative interpretation that made it even more threatening than how it appears in the manual. In terms of resources, it only costs $5. Did not use up very much resin. Took us about 3.5 hours to print, and so now we're closing in on 4 total days of printing. So that's a cloaker from White Werewolf Tavern. This is a fantastically designed figure. Like I said, it's a little bit non-traditional, but it definitely has like this really aggressive, dangerous feel to it. And even though it was a little big, I printed it a little bit smaller, and it printed out fine. So next up, we're printing the cockatrice.